Thank you, Shailesh, and welcome back once again for a final segment. And this segment, we're just going to have a more of a discussion about the change of the government. So, what does change mean for you? What does change mean for me? And change mean for common people? So, Shailesh, what does this change in this? Are
This
we
is my favorite
hoping?
topic.
Yeah, I just I have this. Are we hoping for a change for the sake of change, or do we need a change, or are we okay with status quo? Like, what's your take on that?
I'll tell you from a normal common man human as a spiritual person, I personally feel change is inevitable, first of all.
Yes, that's true.
We have seen changes all my life since I was born, since I came to know, and I've seen so many changes. And change is always good. Don't get me wrong. Change is always good. But political changes, political party changes is good, or policies are changing good. When you make a policy for your daughter, when you want to, I'll give you a very simple for layman for people to understand. When you wear a simple same dress every day, you get bored. Now you want to change another and you feel good about it when you change your dress. Simple things, right? Or change your outlook and you feel good, you get a different energy, and that's what you like the change. And this is something great. But you have made the change to yourself, isn't it? Basically. You don't worry about what so people say to you. That's what you notice, that oh, you look beautiful or you look different, and that's the energy you want to see from others. But literally speaking, you have changed yourself. People are telling you, but you have changed yourself. This is the simple analogy I want to give with the change. So when you look at political parties, I like this party, I like that political party, I like that policy, I like this policy. But is that policy going to change me? Is that political party working for me? Is it going to benefit me? That's the key message I want to give to all the listeners. Make a change, but make a change for yourself, because you have the only opportunity for yourself to change yourself. No one else can change you. No one else what you want can change. Because ultimately when you vote or when you cast, you don't know which political party is going to come, but you had an intention to change something and you voted. That's the first step you have to do, right? So to me, change is not just change as a color or as a political party color, but policies that affect you, policies that matters you. During COVID, we saw so many changes happening. We saw everyone's mindset was changed. Everyone's mental health was changed, and everyone's suffering were different. There were lots of relationship issues. There was separation and togetherness. All sorts of happened. Some who were not talking started talking. Some who didn't want to talk didn't talk. All those changes happened in their life, even with the kids, even with the parents, even with the grandparents and everyone. This is what humans we do. We matter. Is our own people matters, our own things, that we can do something for someone. But if you want to help someone, if you want to care for someone, then you have to change yourself. You can't just expect change without doing anything or without taking an effort. So I think change is very inevitable to start with. I will make that call. Again, now coming back to the policies of changes that we want to see, what are the basic things that we want? We covered, Shirali, before health, education. We also covered housing. We also covered, employment. And we talked about a lot of issues and a lot of things. And I think what we understood from all of that is this is what I want. I should be able to go freely. Am I being free with these policies, or am I being stuck with these policies? That is the key thing as a spiritual human being that I see. I don't want to get stuck at any point of my life or any moment of my life. I should be able to freely go, which means I should be able to travel. In COVID, I was not able to do it, which means I should be able to, educate my kids anywhere and everywhere, wherever I want. I should get a treatment of my health, no matter what age I am in. I should get an immediate care for my health, for my grandparents, for my family. I should be able to, do something for everyone around me and through my family. That's the freedom I want. And that's the government, or that's the governing body that we would like to be under. Not someone who would say, I will do better for you, but then nothing happens better for me. It's only happens for few, or it happens only for few things. And that's not what I want. I want for everyone to work. We sacrifice in
Yep.
each, we all sacrifices for everyone. We sacrificed during COVID. People who didn't wanted to vaccine, they didn't vaccine, but then people who didn't wanted to vaccine still vaccine because they sacrificed. They
Yep.
sacrifice for others. So that's the key
I
thing.
think that's a very interesting take you have given. Like change is inevitable, but is it being thrust on you, or is it something which you need to accept because it's for the greater good, as I would put it? Yes, we cannot please 100% of the people. It's like quite impossible. And
That's
when I look at the different policies,
mm,
I had the idea the other day. Like I wish I could form a party which had policies from each one of them, because honestly, there are some policies of like Labor, National, Act, Green, NZ
yeah.
First, which I like. And
Mm,
I wish there was a different party which had all that
mm,
accumulation of those things. And it's just going to be quite interesting. Like for example, spoke about when we spoke about the ACT party about
mm,
reducing the age of voting, and I was
yes,
having a chat with my kids
mm.
around that do you think 16
Yeah, yeah,
is a
yeah.
good age? And I remember you telling that now kids are much more informed than when we were
Yes.
16. They know what's going on. So like my 9-year-old was giving me some tips or suggestions about political parties, and he was like he keeps on
Right.
questioning what is the meaning of communism, what is the meaning of democracy. So that means that at
True.
age of 9 he
Yeah.
is able to understand those
Mm,
words. So
mm,
that policy kind of resonated with me,
mm.
and I think Green Party is also in
Yeah.
support of that. But the cultural thing, if I speak about the cultural thing of the Green Party again, therefore their focus on preserving the language and
Yeah.
the team Maori focus is quite strong. But
Yeah.
then ACT on the other hand is talking about having a universal approach, and
Yes.
which
Yes.
I don't quite agree with, and we had a discussion
Mm.
on
Yes.
that as well.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, change for the sake of change, I'm not sure. But what is worrying me as of now is the statement which I read in the morning that Laksan is saying that there is a possibility of second election.
I
Yes.
know. Oh my
And
God.
that was like, wow, we've been
That,
doing all this, and it doesn't look like it could be even a national act, and they might require NZ first. And there have been clashes with NZ first in the past, and now they're talking about second elections.
mm,
So, which kind of gives me makes me feel that people who are aware of these policies, but they're still not, happy with one particular party, that all their policies is something which they are looking for. So, as me as a common person,
yeah.
a completely different party with a mix of all the different parties would have made much more sense. But what do you think about the second election comment?
Yeah, see, this is very nicely you mentioned that, because I was about to say that all this time's election campaign for all the political parties perspective, but as a country, as a nation, we are witnessing a completely negative vibes rather than the
Yeah,
positive vibes. That's the first comment I wanted to make, because and it
yeah,
was uncalled for. And this is adding fuels by people making statements or slogans or things like that. Oh, no matter which political party, there's no naming of any political party. But when they do this kind of thing and they want to score one after the other, that you said this, so I'm going to say this. You said that, so I'm going to say that. And look, there was also a scary moment yesterday when Winston Peters, I think he made I saw in the media somewhere that there was a hype that there won't be any polling booths on the election day at the rurals and regions. And that
yeah.
was again, electoral commissioner has to come in and talk in the media that no such thing is going to happen. Everything is going to go as normal. Again, that's a fear. That's a fear that everybody has got for low turnout or high turnout. And then these are the things that, matters, that people think, oh, if re-election is going to happen, let's not vote this year. We'll wait for things to happen. Again, that's a negative concept, negative mindset, rather than having a complete positive campaign that, okay, I'm going to get better in your education policy. I'm going to get better in your health policy. If you're giving this to the person, I will do extra. Like I like Green's policy of health when it comes to dental care. It was one of the best policies. So that's a change because that never happened in New Zealand. We have health system, but that's a change. Now that's a good change, I would say. I would also say a change in tax. People wanted tax cuts. People wanted tax benefits. People wanted wealth tax and capital gain tax so that that can be funded through the other needs of the health and education. I think those are changes that we need as I was telling you before in my previous conversation, that we need the existing cost, which is quite high, to have a reformative changes, to change that, not band-aid that, but to change that
Yep.
completely.
I
You know,
think that, well, I like that word.
mm,
They're just putting a band-aid over it, a
yeah.
temporary thing, and not looking like in the law and order, for example, there are national who's talking about tough
Mm,
things, and act is also talking about the tough things, which I would say is a good, like, I'm from the tertiary sector, right? And the other day I was having a conversation with my international students,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
and I just asked them, like, generally, why did you choose New Zealand?
Mm,
Like, you could
mm.
have gone to multiple countries, and they said
True.
for climate, so which I agreed, okay. And then they said health, something about the health thing, and they said about law and order. And
Mm,
then in the second sentence they said, but after coming here we realized that the law and order of the safety was better 10 years back.
mm,
And
mm.
that kind of hurt me, to be honest. I was like,
Absolutely.
international students coming, from a
Mm,
different countries, thinking we are a safe country. And 5 years back also, I would say everything was very, very good. And now they are not happy with that, which was one of our key points of like, the peaceful countries and stuff. So I think those two changes, if it happens, a tackling crime, increasing the police, that's a positive change for me.
absolutely. Definitely. Definitely. We need those changes. Definitely, we need changes. And all the listeners who are listening, actually, they should have that kind of sense, common sense, which everything is based on common sense. What do I need? A safer environment, a safer
Yep.
community. What do you need? Protection of my wealth, protection of my earnings,
Yep.
protection of my, that I have created for my kids, inheritances, everything. All those things needs to be, because we all work hard work, and what
Yep.
we need, that hard work needs to be protected and safeguarded by the government's policies. Like even simple, deposits in the banks. Now, if banks getting liquidated, banks getting bankrupted, if Kiwi Savers gets bigger, what are the policies to protect?
Oh,
Look at
yep.
look at the farmers. If suppose something happens to the farmers, what will happen to us? Are they protected enough, good enough? That's where I would like changes to see, so that we have a holistic approach of those change. And I think, to by and large, both the political parties are very good in terms of like managing the economies of the country so far. However, after COVID, everybody needs that magical wand to change everything overnight, their mindset, which is not possible to
Yeah,
change.
which is not possible. I think that's we need to be pragmatic. We need to be realistic that
Yeah.
it will happen. And I think that's where one of those things about having a longer term in the parliament
Mm.
might. That's one change which I like. 3 years, I do agree that it's quite short to do
Short.
any
Yeah.
short to do anything. So
Yeah.
those are very important. So that those were the changes for me and for Shailesh. Any final word
Yeah,
about the
no,
change in
that's
government?
we touched on the changes, like we need change in the crime and safety. We need change in the our housing and our basic health, and even we need changes in our education. We need all these changes, but change is not just political party changes, change in the policies for your betterment. And I think everybody is pinching each political party that I am better than you because you are wasting funds in this. Everybody will prioritize their funds to everywhere they want. But
Yeah.
is it really for you those policies affect? That's what you got to see. So that's my final thing would be is, please look into the policies. Please make sure that these policies will make and break for you. And if you have an informed choice and informed decision, don't look for the changes in the political party, look for the changes in the policies in the current time, in the present time, not in the future time. And I
Yeah.
think with that, I will sum up. There are some of the few things which I said, again, want to touch. Dental care is a good policy. Capital gain tax, wealth tax in this current situation is a good move, good direction if that change happens. But if it doesn't happen, that's we have to see what other changes are going to happen. But most importantly, social economic welfare of everyone needs to be taken care of. And now there is a difference in opinion that some says that change, we will do it because we are not going to give handouts, but we are going to make it handouts. Now there is a difference and a fine line, what is hand up and what is handout. And again, where you need a handout, you need a handout. Where you need a hand up, you need a hand up. I will say that. There is no kind of thing where you can replace hand up with handout or replace handout with hand up. You know what I mean? Basically, you can't replace it. There are certain things, basic things. When COVID came, you need a hand up, handout. You know, you can't have a hand up at that time because you can't do anything. You need a handout. So that was required, that was needed. So you can't replace handout with hand up, but you can certainly need certain things to be taken care by handouts and certain basic things and another thing, growth things to be hand up. With that note, I think, Sheerali, I will end up this as change in government is not change in policies. So change in policies will be change in government. With that note, I like to thank everyone, to all the listeners who are listening. Please,
Thank you, Shailesh.
please cast your vote and make sure that make that change for you,
Yeah.
not for, yeah. Okay. You're all
Thank you
fine.
very much. Thank you very much, Shailesh. Thank you.
You too.